Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So I wanted to talk to you today about that one subject nobody likes to think about, and with life comes death. And it's not a happy subject. Nobody really likes to talk about death. It's kind of, I guess you could say in a word, pessimistic or just not fun. But it is something we all have to think about at some point in time in our lives. And so I want to share something a little bit more personal with you in regards to ways that you can commemorate your beloved pets when they pass away. Or, even if it's a beloved parent, a spouse, aunt, uncle, any family member. In my case, right now, I'm going to share with you, it was when my spouse had passed away, my late husband. So, through the funeral home, he was cremated for starters. Some people choose to keep an urn with the ashes in their home as a decor item to have them close by. I choose to commemorate him in a different way. His ashes were placed in an urn that came from the funeral home, and I did get 3 glass vials like this from the dollar store, and some of his ashes are here with me. I keep this protected in my lockbox on my desk. The idea of seeing this every day would be too upsetting for me, so that's why I keep it safely in my lockbox. But his sister got one of these, and so did his father. Some of you might wonder, well, why not his mother? Well, his mother had passed away before I met him. So this is mine, and I keep it in my lockbox safely tucked away. But another thing I had gotten, so this chain used to belong to him. This was actually part of my wedding gift to him. He really wanted a bigger chain, and so I got him this. Unfortunately, he didn't get to wear it too often just because of his line of work. Working in a warehouse, there's a lot of safety hazards, and so this stayed at home for him to wear on weekends, but now it's mine. But through the funeral home, I've gotten this cross. Now, I don't know if you could see the lettering. So it's got the year he was born to the year he passed away. He was 36 years old when he passed away. The word going down says soulmate, because I truly believe in my heart he was my soulmate. But on the back of it is something more special. On the back of it is his thumbprint. So anytime I wear this, I will always have him locked away in my heart. And I mean truly locked away. Because this pendant right here was given to me by him about, I want to say, a little over a year before he passed away. We did go through a rough patch where we had marital problems, and this was his way of helping us work it out. He wanted me to know that, he is 1000% devoted to me and working out our issues. And we started working out our issues, just unfortunately, life had another plan, or God had another plan for him. But this is my memory of him, his thumbprint on the cross. And there, I also have a tattoo that I got of him, or not of him, sorry, of the cross with the wings. Except on the tattoo, it's the year we got married to the year he passed away. And it's got Fitz written in the middle. Or his last name was Fitzpatrick, which is my married last name. And yeah, so that's kind of where Fitz comes from when it comes to my channel name. And yeah, so the concept of this basically is to let you know there are multiple ways of being able to commemorate your beloved family member, whether it's a pet or a human family member, you can talk to your local funeral home or crematorium. If we're talking about, an animal, in this case, it would be the crematorium. And you can ask them if they do things like this. Maybe they can turn, your guinea pig into an actual piece of jewelry, or maybe they could put like a paw print on some sort of piece of jewelry, or if you want to have, a copy of their paw prints after they've passed on. A lot of not funeral homes, sorry. I'm talking about my husband, so now I'm talking funeral homes. Let's go back to talking about pets here. A lot of vet offices will be willing to like take a little white canvas type of thing and get their paw prints put on there for you with their name and stuff like that. So that's another special way you can commemorate your beloved pet if you choose to bury them. For me personally, I have a section in my garden. And with this house, it's on the side of the building because that's where my water hose is. And I've already got, let's see, Andre, Penny, Peppa, and Eliza. So I've got, I lost track. Andre, Penny, Peppa, Eliza. So 4. Andre, Penny, Peppa, Eliza. Yeah, 4. Sorry. I've got 4 guinea pigs buried in the side of my garden there, and that is where they will remain. When I lived at my old house, I had buried Jane there because she passed away 4 months after I adopted her and rescued her. Excuse me. And so for me, most of my memories I have are through photos and what's in my heart. I know the quality time that we spent together and the fun I had taking care of them and their quirky personalities. Those memories live on inside here. So for me personally, I'm not comfortable with having so many urns with ashes lying around the house. That it doesn't give me a good vibe. So I personally don't choose that option, but I have no issues with people who cremate their pet or their beloved human, grandparent, parent, aunt, uncle, sister, brother kind of thing. I do not have anything against that, and I want you to know that. But I don't feel having a ton of extra, objects lying around the house to really be of too much value to me. So, if you have a pet that is sick, or that, you're worried might cross the Rainbow Bridge or anything like that, it's important to think about this, kind of like ahead of time. Not that you want to plan, far, far ahead of, oh, my guinea pig or my hamster or my dog or my cat's going to die in, 2 years, so I need to plan that far ahead. You don't have to plan specifics, but more or less of have a plan in mind. Like, if you only get a limited income each month, let's say, and for a fact you're going to want to cremate your pet when that time comes, you might need to budget, a certain amount each month to put away into a savings account so that when that time comes, you'll have it. Or, if you need to save up for an emergency vet fund or, whatever it might be. So it's important to plan ahead for that things, but also there's factors to consider. Not everybody owns their own property. So if you rent, is there any provincial or state laws saying that you cannot bury a beloved pet on the property? Is there a law saying how deep they have to be buried if you can? Another thing to consider is, are there any outside sources of animals that could potentially dig up the remains and disturb the peace of your pet? Now, this could be other personal pets you have, or these could be wild pets, bunnies, foxes, all kinds of, wild animals out there that might dig or burrow or whatnot, and, it's just things to think about. And another thing to consider is space. Do you have enough outdoor space to peacefully lay your beloved pet to rest? Now, I'm a firm believer that whether it's a human or whether it's a pet, once they are laid to rest, whether it is cremation or whether it's buried in the ground, once they are laid to rest, they are there to rest. I would not ever consider disturbing the peace for any given reason. It's kind of another reason why this little vial of my late husband's ashes remain in my lockbox up there. I very seldomly take this out because I feel he should be at rest. And speaking of which, I'm going to put this away. There we go. Tucked away in the back corner. So, things to consider is, do you want paw prints of your beloved pet? Do you want thumbprints on a piece of jewelry? There's so many things to do. Now, something like this with the cross, it's not cheap. I paid probably close to $1,000 just for the pendant. And I know some of you that's watching this video will question, well, how did you afford it? How did you pay for it and stuff? Well, I want to assure you one thing. I have not always been on a disability pension. I used to work. After my husband passed away, I did also have his life insurance money that came in, which was a humongous help because it provided that stability that my 3 kids had needed at that time, financially. It assured me that we'd have a roof over our head and that I had time to try and figure out what my next steps were. So, I'm going to try and find a couple of websites that might offer things like this. I mean, it doesn't have to be a cross. It could be, it could be a Star of David. It could be just a circle, a square, or whatever. I'm going to try and find either some images that I could show you on the screen or websites that I could share with you that you can look into if this is the route you would like to choose. So, if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. I know this is a bit of a gruesome topic. Nobody likes to plan the death. But to help with grieving processes, it's important to think about it sometimes. When my husband passed away, I did not know what cemetery to get him buried at. I did not know whether he was going to be cremated or not. Now, he and I had talked about some things like this, every so often, but we didn't know when it was going to happen. And when the time does happen, your brain gets frazzled and you can't always think straight. So sometimes to have a plan of action ahead of time will actually make it easier for you. So I hope you, I don't want to say enjoyed the video, but I hope you learned something out of this, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.